Hi everybody. The theme of this video today is old growth wood. Yes, 3 words, old growth wood. So it's a little confusing. What about old growth wood? I brought my kalimba in, and my kalimba I bought back in high school. It's like, it's from South Africa, and it's made of old growth wood. These are cool, and it sounds this good because it's old growth wood. This wood is just old and dry. What is old growth wood? Old growth is grown the old-fashioned way. It's usually grown in equatorial, so it is the equator, and in particular Honduran mahogany, which all of our electric guitars are made of Honduran mahogany. Now mahogany is grown on plantations, and the mahogany you get is usually 20 to 40 years old. Old growth wood is at least 120 years old, and more likely 400 years old, 400 plus. A plantation mahogany tree from Central America will be 40 feet high, 4 stories high. An old growth tree will be 100 feet high and is at least 120 years old, more likely 400 years old. And back in the day, old growth mahogany was cut, clear cut, from the 1700s till about the 1940s, when government stepped in and said, hey, no, this is all we got left. These old trees kind of provided cover for the flora and fauna and the animals of the area. So you need to protect them, to protect your biological diversity, which is important. What they did was, this is really about a 1955 Les Paul Junior. I'm getting to it. What they did is they would fell the trees, and while the rivers that ran through Central America was dry, they would place them along the edge of the river. They would put them into the riverbank and wait for the monsoons to come, and then the water would rise and push the logs out into the ocean where they could take them. Because back in the 1700s, believe it or not, there were no motorized trucks. So even in the 1940s, that was a difficult task to get that out of the jungle. It's not like they had Hummers or whatever else kind of vehicles, old Volvos, to get that out. So everything got put down to the river, and then it was picked up and brought to the eastern seaboard where it was sold. And this is, hang on, segue, where companies like Gibson and Martin would buy the wood. Now this is a 1955 Gibson Les Paul Junior single cut, and this is in its classic sunburst single cut single sheet Honduran mahogany. This wood is old growth, and this wood was probably bought about 1940 when that started to dry up. Those guys, realizing that soon the end was near of this type of wood, they would buy it and store it. And imagine if you had a piece of wood like this and you put it into storage for, say, 10, 12 years. Now you've got to put some value on that. A, where are you going to put it? And who's going to pay for that? You can't just sell it right away. These days, everything is sold off right away. We just refinished a Mexican Telecaster, and the problem with new wood is that it continues to shrink. So the moisture content is not taken out of it. That's a way to save money, to offer you a guitar for cheap. To offer you a guitar for $500, $800, $1,200, you can't afford to use old growth or can't afford to use properly cured wood. So what happened with this guitar is that the original owner, the wood shrank, but the ectoskeleton around it did not. And it was a plastic finish. So the finish started coming off in sheets because this wood was green, okay? My point, and I do have one, is These guitars, these old, especially these old solid bodies, you think, what difference does it make? It's a solid body guitar, just make it out of whatever. No, this old growth really does make a difference. This is a single sheet mahogany body. This was all carved from one sheet, and they carved down the headstock. This used to be a big plank of wood that's all carved. It was carved in this time period on a duplicating lathe and then hand sanded and hand shaped. It has a fat piece of Brazilian rosewood for a fingerboard, and it responds in a tremendous These Juniors are the epitome of that. If you want to own one Les Paul, I'd say this is the Les Paul. This classic Les Paul shape, this Junior is just everything you need. It's powerful. Ain't that fun? Yes. So this is my 1955 Les Paul Junior, and there's one reason you'd buy this. Forget about the aged magnets or the high quality magnets with more cobalt in it than you could afford to put in now. Forget about these old lightweight nickel plated tail pieces, the low mass tuners, the headstock pitch, the perfect shaped neck. Forget about the fact that you look, check this out. Huh? Yeah, baby. It's all about the wood, baby. It's all about the wood. And on that, I'm going to let you go back to what you were doing. Thanks for watching.